Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to All Praise Picks. Today we're looking at the MLB. We have the Miami Marlins playing against the Kansas City Royals in Kansas City on June 24th, 2024. Currently, the Marlins are 27 and 50, which is fifth place in the NL East, and the Royals are 42 and 37, which is third place in the AL Central. But the Royals are on a three-game losing streak and are just returning home after uh, a three-series road trip versus the Dodgers, A's, and Rangers, and they did just lose three straight versus the Rangers. So I am looking towards the Royals to bounce back in this spot against a Miami team that um, isn't that good this season and has a lot to be desired in terms of their pitching matchup as well as their overall offense. But I have four parlays for you guys on BetMGM. As always, up right down the lines, give you my thoughts, and hopefully, if you tap in, we can all win. So here's the first parlay at minus 120. I have Cole Reagans, who's the starting pitcher for the Royals, to have more strikeouts and give up fewer bases total than Munoz, who is the starting pitcher for the Marlins. On the season, Reagans is 4-5 in his starts with a 3.13 ERA and a 3.45 expected ERA and a 1.15 WHIP. While Munoz is 1-2 in his three starts this season with a 5.76 ERA and a 7.53 expected ERA and a 1.35 WHIP. But Munoz, he's only pitched in a total of 29 innings. But I just think that Kansas City will be much better in this game, especially being back home on the season. Kansas City averages the highest batting average and the second most hits at home, and they also have the lowest number of strikes per game at home at 6.3, which is top three in the league overall. And I think they're top three in the league overall as well in terms of just their number of strikeouts per game. They give up a very low number of those. So I do like Reagans to have more strikeouts for the Royals than Munoz will for the Marlins. Miami also has given up the third highest strikeout percentage to left-handed pitchers since June 1st at 26.2%. So I do think that this is a pretty good matchup for Reagans and a nice bounce-back spot for the Royals overall. In terms of the number of bases, so Miami gives up the lowest number of runs per game on the road at 3, and they're also bottom 10 in the hits category on the road. So I just think that Reagan, who plays much better at home, should be able to get more strikeouts and give up fewer bases, as the Marlins have shown that they struggle on the road to even get hits and accumulate runs on the season. So because of that, I also have the Royals in the first 5 innings to cover a 1.5 run line spread, essentially not to lose the first 5 innings by more than 2 runs. And I also have the same thing for the full game, essentially for them not to lose the game by more than 2 runs. And I think that the Marlins overall, while they may play a little bit better than they usually do, I don't think that they'll be able to put up more than 10 runs in this game. And I'd be surprised if this game ends up being a proverbial shootout in that sense. For the Miami Marlins to really win this game, I think that has to be low scoring. And I think that, for one, I think the Royals will win this game. But for two, if the Miami Marlins do have a chance of winning this game, I don't think putting up more than 8 runs would be in their best interest. Just because I don't think that they want to go bat for against the Royals, who have shown that they can be a really good batting team. I think if they're going to win this game, it'll rely on their pitching, and I don't think they have a pitching advantage in this game. So at the first, that's the first parlay at minus 120. So if you bet 1 unit, say your 1 unit is $100, you'll have an 83% return on your investment, which is a great return on investment. It's less than double, so it's less than the usual plus parlays that I put up. But I do have 3 more parlays for you guys to take a look at. So this is the second parlay I have at plus 140. As I mentioned before, I think that Reagans will have a much better game than Munoz for the Marlins. So I have Reagans to give up the fewest home runs and the fewest bases. In terms of home runs, I just think that because Miami averages the lowest number of total runs per game on the road at 3, I just don't foresee them having a lot of home runs in this game. And I think that with the Royals being back home after their extensive road trip, I think they'll be excited to play in front of their home crowd and should be able to get up a lot of hits and in turn the potential for home runs in this game. I also have Bobby Witt Jr., who's a great batter for the Royals, probably one of their best players on the team to have over 1.5 bases in this game. Essentially what that means is off of his hits to have more than 2 bases total. So say he has 3 at-bats on average. For him to get more than 2 bases, he could have 2 singles, or he could have 1 double, or even a triple or home run would be able to hit this line. And I think that he has a pretty good chance of getting more than 2 bases in this game. His on-base percentage for the season is 0.891, and it goes up to essentially 0.9 versus right-handed pitchers. So essentially it's like he has a 90% chance of getting a base hit whenever he gets at bat versus right-handed pitcher. And his batting averages increases to 0.314 versus right-handed pitching on the season. So I think as long as he has the number of at-bats that he needs, whether that be more than 3, I would assume for this game, but if he gets 4 at-bats, I think that he should definitely get over this line. And he's gone over this line in 3 straight home games as well, so I do think that he continues to streak in this game. And I also mentioned the Royals to cover the first 5 innings by 1.5 runs, but I just took them at 1.5 and 2.5 runs for the full game, so that just to safeguard against any other like unforeseen possibilities that could happen in a baseball game. So at plus 140, if you bet 1 unit on this parlay, you'll get 140% return on your investment, which is a little bit more than double, and is obviously great as long as the parlay hits. So I just advise you guys to have financial consciousness and an overall understanding of your bankroll when deciding to place these bets, if you do decide to place them with me. So these are the last 2 parlays that I have at plus 125 and plus 155, and all the lines here are the same except for I have Jesus Sanchez on the Marlins to have under 1 home run and under 1 RBI in this game, and the same is true for his teammate Otto Lopez. I chose these 2 guys just because their batting averages, one for the season, are pretty low. Sanchez has a batting average of 0.241, and Lopez has actually the same batting average, but their batting averages go down on the road, and specifically versus left-handed pitchers. Sanchez has a batting average of 0.105 and Lopez at 0.179 versus left-handed pitching. So in comparison, like I mentioned, Bobby Witt, he has a batting average of 0.314. So essentially he has 3 times the number of hits and contact with the ball than Sanchez and Lopez. But they should have the same number of at-bats in this game, whether that be around 2 to 4. So I just essentially it's just a numbers game where if they have a far lower percentage of hits on the season, their likelihood of hitting a home run or an RBI in those hits is significantly lower. So I'm just taking my chances on them going under 1 home run and under 1 RBI in this game. And I'm also leaning towards Cole Reagan to have a good game in this one, which I do think that he'll be able to. As I mentioned, Miami is bottom 10 in hits on the road, and they have the lowest average of total runs per game on the road at 3. And looking deeper into each of these numbers, so Sanchez, he only has 1 home run versus a left-handed pitcher this season, and Lopez has yet to have a home run versus a left-handed pitcher. So I just overall think that the odds of them having a home run or even an RBI versus a pretty good pitching matchup versus Reagan's in this one is pretty low, and I think that the Royals should be able to win this game pretty handily. So at plus 125 and plus 155, if you guys decide to bet these parlays, you'll have a 125% return on your investment for the one on the left, and 155% return on your investment for the one on the right. And as always, I would just advise you guys to have financial consciousness and an overall understanding of your bankroll when deciding to place these bets if you do decide to. But stay tuned for more MLB videos and WNBA videos coming out later this week, and I appreciate you guys for watching. But until next time, peace out.